Hello guys and welcome to TFT Worlds, Day 2, Game number 3. Enjoy.
Or potentially, if you are a bit of a high roller, Tactician's Crowns, if you lose streak early in this stage 2 especially.
Would you want to make a Tactician's Crown situation, or would you rather save for 2 spats? What do you think, our fine world rep Pie Hat?
I mean, we're in a meta where you actually want a lot of verticals, so I know you're a very common person who really is a fan of just gambling it all, trying to go all in. But that being said, having a Tactician's Crown is actually 2 stacks of cookies. There's 40 HP to any unit every single round, and that stacks up.
And thinking about the craftable emblems, the verticals that you might want to go to, it's going to come down to if you pick Ancient Archives or a Tome-related augment at 2-1 as an Earth player, which everyone is in this lobby, all 8 players on Earth. Then you have to be thinking, if I get offered an Ionia emblem, for example, I'm going to try and go for 2 Ionia, try to make it to 9, playing a high-tempo game plan across this stage 2 and 3.
Okay, we're looking at Piva's board right now, and that was actually kind of insane. He has a Cassiopeia 2 with a Tear and a Cloak Star with a Cho'Gath 2 at the ready. So I do think that our fine Piva, our global rank 1 player, is actually trying to make it back into the top 8. Let's see if it's possible or not.
He's mounting a bit of a comeback on this day 2 across the first 2 games, now sitting at 37 points, around that 12 to 16 point mark where you're close to making the top 8.
And it's a golden augment.
How many archives? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Only
5,
Wei-Shan.
6.
Wei-Shan spinned it.
All
right.
And everyone's opening it at the same time. I do want
6 ancient archives in the end. Shurima has been found
Shurima
for
spat.
Cassiopeia 2 and 2 more Cassiopeia as well.
We like to call him the Chorima because that Cho'Gath is gonna grow so much. And actually, well, he's contested.
Well, since Shurimas are contested in this lobby at the moment, we gotta check the spats of the other players too. We see one Demacian. Is there any other spatulas in the lobby that is standing out? And that is gonna decide who is contested and who isn't.
Well, I have some bad news for maybe the viewers, maybe for us, but we have 3 Demacia emblems.
What?
We have 2 Shurima emblems. And Tamura and Asian sitting on solid lines that they can be playing solo with Ionia for Weijin and going to be challenger for Tamura. So this could be a game like the game 4 we saw yesterday in day 1 where so many players are trying to contest the same exact 4 costs in stage 4.
So Shurima and Demacia is contested. We have a solo Ionia from Weijin. We have a Sork from Panda. And we also have the double challengers potential from Tamura. What do you guys think is going to win this game?
I really want to point out the Wei-Shan, as you said, because he's the only guy who didn't paint the tome. He picked dedication. He's playing for a line that is not contested. It's basically the same thing, but just guaranteed.
I want to know with the spatulas that are open right now for Bandit Cafeteria, Ionia and Shurima are the 2 verticals that can really benefit from this the most because they can go into those 2 verticals, they can craft 2, and Weijin is ahead of the game already, has both emblems ready to go, the Ash and the Graves 2 for now, item carrying. And this is going to be all about trying to go 9 at this point in time, finding the way to stabilize your board to stay healthy both in economy and in HP.
But now we have to think about the important question. Is Weijin really willing to go for level 9 for 5 cost 2 stars? Because he is #1 on the leaderboards at the moment. He doesn't need to take that risk. He actually might consider just all-in at 7 to just get a cool top 4 placement. And maybe if he gets lucky, he might get a higher placement.
And also another thing that people have been doing with Ionia is also rerolling the Ash. Ash has had a lot of success during the entire day 1.
Talking about craftable emblems, Tamura sitting on 2 challenger emblems, can be looking at the 8 challenger vertical. Panda sitting on 2 sorcerer emblems. I mean, so if we're talking about Earth and emblems being, I think, the most dominant characteristics of this entire tournament, this game really highlights that to a crazy amount.
And the main question is going to be the 3 Demacia players, Shingro, Connor, Kurum. Demacia is not a craftable emblem. You cannot do that with Spatula, nor you cannot do that with Slayer. So what can you actually do with a Spatula when you're playing a line that isn't really craftable?
You're right, the Demacia players are not guaranteed a second Demacia spat. They do need to find one more from the 3-2 or the 4-2 augment. So that is going to be the decisive factor, whether they hit first place or not.
Of course, Connor, a player we saw yesterday, hit 2 Demacia emblems in 2 separate carousels in the same game, could be trying to go for that same strategy in this game 3 on day 2. And we're looking now at this Cho'Gath, continue to gain that extra HP. The big question is, why are there 5 Graves on the bench?
Man, Piva just chilling with upgrades saying, yo, I have 2 Cassiopeia 2 stars, why not get 2 Graves 2 star just to flex on my opponents?
He's playing build different and we don't know it yet. I think he's angling towards that build different at 3-2.
And I thought Bebe liked to cook. That's something and I think he's maybe if he wins, maybe we can find a random
wait.
Grave 3.
Does that mean our world champion does not know the legendary double Cassiopeia to double Graves 2-star?
Oh, the
strat?
Jin comes through.
Telling me that Graves is the play, the 5 Graves. Oh, I'm interested now. I'm curious.
Jin gets a big win there in the end, and we're going to see any interesting options on this carousel. I mean, we've seen most of the players that were looking to close out the second emblems. They've been closed out already, so they're not looking for that key component to try and close out the Ionia or the Challenger emblems.
I mean, I actually was interested to see a Spat here. If Spat here showed up at the carousel, then Lost Streaking would have been very, very impactful, and the lobby would go crazy. But it seems to be just a very singular, one of each component type like start.
There is a rod for Ace, which closes his Shurima emblem as well. So every player, their mission for the game, their homework is first get your 2 emblems and then make it to 9. Most players have done that part 1 already. Now the hard part is making it to 9.
And it was really sad for Pia because Pia really was going towards the Nafiru with the rod for the Shurima, and he just got joined at the last second. And now we're gonna see how the lobby is going to spike up so much.
The mod check there, we saw Robotic Arm was in the game for Tamura here if he decides to go down that route later on. He can have Jinx maybe as an item carrier in stage 3 with a Challenger emblem. It could work out with the extra attack speed.
Now, the sad thing about Challengers a bit for those who don't know is that you don't really want to go vertical 8 Challenger. 6 is usually just good enough. And when you go for Challengers, you want more combat augments that can make your units stronger after they hit the 3 item mark. So I don't know if Tamura is in a good spot right now in the lobby.
But the good thing about that is at least you'll have 6 Challenger during the mid game, so even though 8 Challenger may not be the strongest vertical you can go for, if he finds a good Ogna, as you said, on 3-2, he should be able to win streak for a bit.
You're forgetting to mention, baby, I think the most important part about this Challenger, which is finding a 5-cost Legendary on 7 and itemizing it with a Challenger emblem.
Okay. That does sound ridiculous, but if you roll 40 times, 80 gold does guarantee you 1 5-cost. It's random, but it does guarantee mathematically speaking.
That's the hard part, getting the right one.
Okay, so you're not gonna miss. If you ever always roll at 7, you always hit a legend.
It's always Aatrox Velvet, right?
I mean,
If you're baby, potentially. If you're me, most definitely not in my ladder games. But looking at the HP totals, 1 player defending, trying to go for that 5 win streak. That's going to be Qingro, the Chinese player. He's done it so many games throughout today. He's been so strong yesterday as well. Was finished in that top 6 of the standings. And we're seeing now the Chinese showdown, Ace versus Qingro.
I kind of want to compliment the fact that these players memorize every Damasha item build-up. So he's actually using the Deathblade so beautifully on Jin, that ultimate doing so much damage but doesn't kill anything. Okay.
Swain 2 is too much with Shurima as well with the HP. It's going to be the end of the win streak here, unfortunately. It's now Ace instead who starts his own little win streak going into that stage 3.
and he's looking really good going forward. He already has a Nasus, he already has a 4 Shurima going on. He just needs to find maybe 1 or 2 good units, 6 Shurima online. It's just gonna punish the entire lobby.
The awkward thing about this situation is that for Damashan players, there's nothing to charge, really. So all that Bandle cafeteria size going on your queen, your backline, feels awkward, man.
Double loss streak for Panda and for Weijin. They successfully defend their loss streak coming into the stage 3. At some point, they have to start breaking this. They have to find a way to stabilize either at 3-2 or at 3-5 as we're seeing with the roll downs on 6 or on 7.
So Piva and Weijin is looking quite solid, but the problem is Ionian and Shurima good enough to beat the Damashans? Because Damasha is actually the strongest amongst the 9 vertical synergies. So we'll have to see.
We see definitely here potentially a slam for this Ashe, hoping to get a last whisper later onto this game. And could be a stone plate. Was recently nerfed though, so not really, I think, as attractive as it has been in the past few patches.
And we also see, you can see the bench. He already has 2 Nylas.
What?
Holy,
Level
I missed
5?
that. He's on level 5.
Wow. Okay, so in this situation, do you go for Ashe reroll or do you just go for level 7 for Nyla 2?
This is where it kind of tears you into both directions. You would maybe want to go for the Ashe. Reroll has very good stats, especially finding that Ashe 3 as a way to tempo your way into 9. But now with the Nyla, you're incentivized to maybe go to 7 instead and roll there for both Ashe and the Nyla 2.
And the good thing that the Vision Gas going on for him is that remover. He's gonna itemize the Ashe for a long time. He maybe even find an Ashe 2 and continue the win streak. And then later he's gonna remove the items, put them on a Saya, and just steamroll from there.
I think Weijin is still going to roll at 6, at least for an upgrade or 2. He has an Ashe pair, he's a set pair, so maybe he'll stabilize first and then think about it. But most importantly of all, what is the next augment? Silver, gold, prismatic, that changes the entire direction.
Both Panda and Weijin, 6 loss streak for both players. The econ is great, the HP not so
Gold?
much. Ace
Demacia's
also
spat for
defends his
Kurum.
win streak.
Demacia spat? Where?
Demacia crest for Kurum.
Demacia spat's the most important. Gotta
Kurum
find it.
had a Demacia emblem as well, if I'm not mistaken. That is the case. So this is
Yeah.
a player that can now go to 9 Demacia, but first, of course, has to make it to level 9.
Connor also found a dedication, so he is able to get 9 Demacia as well, too. So
These
this
NA
lobby,
players
they're
are out of
finding it.
control.
oh man.
I thought those emblems were not craftable.
Oh, you get a little bit of an NA magic. Seemingly they are, either in carousels or off of your augments. They can be found. Weijin finds the Ash 2 upgrade, still sitting on just that BF sword on her.
Now, the terrifying thing about this lobby is that the Demacian players still have a spatula that they can use for Force of Natures if they get a Prismatic. So they can actually hit 9 Demacias at level 8. This lobby's gonna go crazy.
Oh God.
Wow.
I don't even want to look. This is just so strong. And I think also an interesting thing, because other players might also be tempted to go for their own verticals, this means that the lobby tempo will be a tiny bit slower, and if Demacia players and other players make it to 9, Demacia players will be the ones winning out. So I think a very favorable lobby complexion for both Connor and Kurum.
Now, if there's any Asian fans out there, he needs to all in now because he is not going to win during the late game. 9 Ionians do not beat these 9 Demacian players.
I'm just now scared because there's a ticking time bomb going on. Everyone's playing, I think almost everyone's playing Earth. If not, but if in 4-2 it's a prismatic augment, everyone is gonna get another spat, and those Demacia players will have a fun.
And the battle for this carousel, there's a spatula on it. Is Kurum incentivized to maybe lose this next fight with as much of a loss as possible to guarantee his first pick? There's maybe too big of a gap right now between Weijin and Kurum. And second question, are Weijin and Panda tasked with defending a spatula with their lives, considering that it can be a fawn for either Kurum or Connor?
Now, that is correct. For those who don't know, the odds to get a spatula at a carousel is 20%.
Thank you,
All
Professor
right.
Bebe.
I'm just saying.
That was that was not sarcastic, Bebe.
I know.
For a great stat, and Piva thanking someone else as well for 3 Shurima emblems at this point in level 6. This lobby, I have just a small idea is going to get out of control very quickly.
I mean, it's already... I don't know what to expect for now. At least we can see the 6 Shurima power spike already going. And we were talking about how many comms were actually
Loading in.
early game.
Spatula.
Oh, spat.
Oh,
One
spatula!
Weijin
Oh my God,
and
they gotta eat that.
Panda. Defend with your life, Panda.
Go,
it is
Panda.
your mission, Panda.
Oh,
Weijin. Oh,
thank God, Weijin.
Okay, Weijin saved the lobby for a little bit, but he also has he already has a sword, so that's a third Ionian spot.
Exactly. No, it was a doubly,
Yeah, it's
win-win
a
there for
Good
Weijin.
for Weijin, and he denies all the Demacian players are level 8, 9 Demacias. Thank God for those Weijin fans out there. Man.
And one player who's still win streaking, Ace, trying to, again, take advantage of players, trying to go fast 8, trying to go fast 9, taking a very slow approach to this stage 3. He's saying, I'm going to play for high tempo, going to try and win streak all this stage 3, and have an HP advantage when these Exodia boards do come online.
So Weijin is rolling at 7. He found 1 Shen so far. Not really what he wanted. He does want to finish off that Nyla 2. Is he going to roll more? No, he is chilling for now. Let's see exactly when he wants to continue to decide to invest.
I mean, he found 2 Nylas at 5, 0 Nylas at 7. I think that's very balanced. That's part of the game. Well, at least with that roll down, he may be able to do something. He's fighting against Panda, which already has a level 7, say 6 Sork, so...
I like for Weijin here, he's considering holding the spatula, maybe waiting until the 4-2 augment pick to see if he can also get his own Tactician's Crown and go 9 Ionia very early. Instead, the earlier he gets his spike, the more HP he can preserve. So when the final, Exodia boards do come online, he can also be as healthy as maybe Ace is.
So the non-Demacia, non-Ionian, and non-Shurima players, Samura and Panda, actually going 7-8 holding hands, and they actually have a harder future as well, too.
Kurum takes a loss down to 52. Connor's still very healthy, considering he has a chance to also potentially go 9 Demacia as the game goes on.
Nyla 2 for Weijin, so he wanted to actually preserve the win streak and make it to a 4 streak and go just spike from there. It's a really good start. Really sad for Tamura because, as we said, challengers can be useful in the stage 3, not when everyone has 2 or 3 spats already.
Okay, so if you were to analyze Krumex's board earlier, as we saw, he didn't really have a good board. He doesn't have a Mordekaiser, for example, and he's also very low on econ and HP. This means he needs a Prismatic to bail him out so he can get the Force of Natures and hit 9 Demacias really, really fast. I think if Krumex does not hit a Prismatic, he might need to all in here for Mordek
And
too.
on the other side, you can see the the player that you would like to be. Shingro already with a Mordekaiser. He actually grabbed a Portal of Forge. You see a Mordekaiser, Demacia, and with a Sonya. So he's gonna be really powerful and really defensive. He's not gonna die.
For Tamura, his augment pickup, you mentioned, baby, him needing combat strength augment for this challenger comp. He did find exactly that. Gifts from the Fallen was Tamura's pickup for his second augment choice. Has to, of course, try and roll down and, as we mentioned, maybe find one of those lucky Aatroxes or Belveth as he does. He's already level 7, 40 gold, so he's relatively rich when it comes to this 3-7 stage, this Wolves fight.
As a challenger main, my official analysis of this sport is
Let's hear
that
it.
no
Baby.
Fiora 2, no carry damage itemizations, has 2 challenger spams, but what does that do in the end?
Okay, right now it's but let's wait for him to roll down his gold, and then you can let us know what you think of the final board.
We have 40
He's
gold.
got 3 belts, dude!
I mean,
No damage!
give him time.
No damage
Give him
items!
some time.
His pants are falling. He needs those belts, baby.
Okay, he can get a Velvet 2 here then. You know what? Why not?
Oh, well, that's an Ari.
That's the wrong 5 cost.
I mean,
Down to 10 gold already, holding a lot of gold on his bench, though. He still has a chance, I think, to roll
Nice.
at least a 0 heal, start selling off some of these units and try and find the units he actually needs. Fioras, Kaisas, and ideally, as you mentioned, Aatrox.
He
or
needs a
Belveth.
5-cost 1-star no matter what. If he does not find a 5-cost 1-star here, he's going to start tanking damage too much, and now he has no HP and no money.
Jarvan 2 for Panda is big, and this also takes away a lot of Jarvan from the Demacia players.
Looks like a rough shot. I think that's GG for Tamura.
and we'll have to wait for the augment. Maybe the augment choices can actually give something for him to come back. I'm really not sure, but yeah, this is. I respect the fact that you're going towards a line that isn't really contested. Challengers, you can actually play normal-esque because the Furious are gonna be out of the pool, but a lot of players.
But it's a big loss, and the bigger problem is coming a bit later on, right? Once Kurum and Connor go 8, if they find Spatula here on
Navic?
this,
No.
next-
Gold. Thank God for all the non-Demolition players. No spatula offered. So most people are just probably going to get extra bonus like a combat value or some itemizations. Do you guys see anything special besides maybe like healing orbs?
There's healing orbs in the top there. We see a second healing orb for Panda potentially as well, who needs to find some immediate strength considering his HP. We also have the shield that has been slammed onto the Azir, and the Azir 2 on Tamura's board. So we haven't found a 5-cost, but we at the very least found an upgraded 4-cost
There's a
item hold.
one thing that actually stands out, which is there are 2 people actually have their return on investment, so they are trying to just roll down for a lot and actually get the way to maybe get an extra phone, a +1 to put something in. So
I mean, technically, going for return on investment is cheaper than hitting level 9. It costs
Yeah,
like
that is
way
true.
less gold. So that is one method to get their 9 synergies online. That is actually a very good point.
And it is going to be both Piva and Connor who are playing for those vertical 9 trades. Piva is playing for Shurima, and Connor is playing for Demacia.
I do like Ace's board as well. The stationary support with a Banshee's Veil. We've seen Mordekaiser work with any spatula, so maybe if we get a Mordekaiser with a Shurima spat with the Banshee's Veil on top of it, it's going to be really good. But for now, we see Weishan actually trying to spike.
Defends the win streak and takes the win streak away from Ace, who has continued to win streak all of Stage 3, the start of Stage 4 here as well.
So this is the point where the first and second place, Shurima players, very strong during the early game, but weak during the mid game, is going to hold Econ until they can rush 9.
Kurum finds Quinn 2, but he's on 17 HP. We talk about the dangers of trying to play for 9 Demacia, the pitfalls of trying to play for a fast state and losing so much HP in the process. He's rolled down his gold. He's level 7.
As I said, Kurum X is in a very, very bad spot, but he might get a spatula at the next Kurzel, and maybe if he rushes to 8,
Doesn't
he
have the
might
gold
be...
though. He's just so far away. He has to, if he wins every fight, okay, but he's on a 7 loss streak, baby.
I mean, he still has some hope for the Kurum X fans out there.
I mean, of course, but I do like the Kai'Sa. For the Kai'Sa 2 is having just a random source of damage, trying to adapt and not just donkey roll your gold, trying to find maybe a hopeful Fiora. So at least maybe there's a chance.
One more cast. The Catherine Rain comes out. The Ashe taken down with the Nyla. Still trying to do her best. I'm sure she can't really take down the 1v4 here. Does take down the Mordekaiser in the process. So Kurum,
Is there a
buy
splash?
some time.
He needs a spat. Come on.
Once
Panda doing
again,
damage.
and he's first pick now. There's no way that Weijin or other players can really defend this unless he gets RNG'd on where he starts off in the carousel and where the spatula could be if Panda wants one as well or wants to deny it.
Spatula. No!
Yeah.
Kurum X is just gonna get a very slow death at this point on, especially with his current like, economic status.
Find
Maybe,
the Mord though.
maybe he could find a Morty too. Maybe.
Yeah, but at the same time, as you said, there's no real goal to maybe get towards the Mordekaiser.
For Piva, The Cassante is so important. We see him. He can't get it.
fine.
Unfortunately, it's been taken away by Chingro, and now we'll see what he wants to decide for, just trying to complete at least one more item. But this is the one thing with Demacia as well. Reaching 9 Demacia is so much easier because there isn't a 5 cost you have to find and slot in. For Shurima, it's not the same case.
I do wonder, did
Okay, so Ace is actually also rolling down as well too at level like 8. I guess he just wants to find DPS output like that, Azir.
He wants to go 9 and find Cassante. He's on that route to find the 9 Shurima as well. He's sitting on a level 8, 30 gold with a decently strong board right now, but more importantly, he has 70 HP to work with.
And we've seen the lobby, even though they have a lot of spatulas and a lot of really vertical traits, a lot of them, the units are 1-star, they still haven't hit.
I also love the detail that he actually rolled just to find the Azir so that he doesn't take too much damage. 30 gold is not 50, but it's still like not that low in enters gold, so we'll see how he does.
And Piva has the same exact game plan, sitting on the same exact gold in the same level. Shurima 9 is the goal for both of these players, for Ace and for Piva, and both are very healthy on HP. We talk about the 9 Demacia a lot. It could be Shurima instead winning this lobby.
But the big difference is that Ace has to go level 9. In the other side, Piva, or can already have 9 Shurimas if he finds it due to the return of investment.
Actually, I think Piva's in a worse spot, even though he has the return on investment potential for the Force of Natures, because Ace is guaranteed 9. He has more than enough HP and money, but Piva is not guaranteed a Cassante, and finding Cassante is actually the hard part.
Double stone in the shop. Connor also now down to 16. We're seeing the problem with both of these NA players who are angling towards the Demacia are now down to 16 and 17 HP. They could have been too tunnel visioned on trying to get to 8, trying to get to 9, trying to find a way to make it to his crown. But they haven't been strong enough in the process.
So this is what happens when Demacia players do not find Mordekaiser. Usually in our lobby, there's always a Mordekaiser.
Demacia.
Oh, he did find it?
No, it's 9 Demacia.
He had return on investment. He'd have
Oh, he found it. You're right.
found the Tactician's crown, and Connor is now in position to swing his way back up in the standings. It was 2 players, of course, Piva and Connor, who were able to pick up that return on the investment as their 3rd augment. He's the boogeyman now. He's the Grim Reaper in this lobby.
Oh my god, nothing is taking damage. Tamura takes a full 7 unit hit. Oh baby, that's gonna hurt.
The tables have turned. Panda. Panda was the one who was trying to maybe scale up, try to not go wave. And when you see Connor with 9 Demacia already, the things are looking
The
great.
scary thing here now is Connor could potentially eliminate Kurum, who is one contesting his own units and trying to go for that same game plan. We'll have to see what Kurum's pool looks like, but he's taken a loss. He's down to 11 HP, which, again, going to stage 5, that could be just one singular life.
So you do not want to be that guy at 7th, 8th when there are so many potential high rollers in this lobby. This is why Asian actually did a good job by saving his HP, 2nd place, so that even if he does meet the high rollers, it's not going to hurt too much. He's going to save a lot of HP.
And I think now every player has to roll down, find the most border strength they can, and try and preserve HP in the process. Try to lose, if they do lose, by as little as possible. We'll see now for Tamura. He's going to go 8.
Velvet? He's got a
the
Velvet?
with the Challenger emblem. He's sitting on 6 Challenger right now. Is this going to be enough against the rest of the players in this field? He has 2 of the strongest players in the lobby in his current pool.
He's tried to level, and the only thing he could actually do.
Fiora 1. It's
Fiora
just
1
not
and
gonna
a
cut it.
Queen 1 is. I mean, you have
No
to-
items for the Kaisa as well. Just devastating game here for Tamura. All that stage 4 did not go as planned. Panda on 8 Sorcerer.
I mean,
Wow, Ace
could
works.
be enough.
10 HP. Uh-oh.
Oh, 9 Demacias.
Kurum versus Panda potentially on their last lives. Can this Ahri do enough? It's an Ahri 1. The pair sitting on the bench, but not quite able to get the upgrade just yet. The Quinn damage coming through, but the heal on the Ahri, the shielding, does come through. The huge amount of damage onto the backline. The front line has melted for Kurum X. Quinn is taken down slowly but surely by the Shen, but it's only Shen left alive, and I don't think he can do it alone. The Quinn Sky Strike comes through, the Kaisa cleans up, and Panda, unfortunately, taken down in 8th place.
Now, for those who know, that was not 9 Demacias. That was actually 7 Demacias that 8 Slurs lost to. So, right.
Who's on the chopping block for Connor? It's only healthy players. Thankfully, Kurum is going to be saved for this next fight at the very least. Chingro, Piva, and Ace are in trouble, though.
I do wonder if how much HP has whenever he goes 9. Will he be able to actually find 9 Shurima or not?
And Piva is on 9 Shurima already, because he was also the player that had the return on the investment. He had a way to slot in 9 Shurima on level 8.
I mean, you were saying, baby, maybe he wasn't gonna hit, but there's a Cassante on the bench, and he didn't even put it on.
I mean, the problem with the 8 roll for Shurima is that he has no 5 cost 2 stars, and Shurima's actually get first by getting 5 cost 2 stars wins, so I am still worried about his situation.
Kurum fighting for his life. Jarvan, no items, already dead. But all of a sudden, the Kaisa is onto the Azir, and the Kaisa on Tamura's side. She gets taken down. Mordekaiser's taken down. Kurum also taken down. 7th place for the North American player, Connor. He's low in the HP, but he's going to start climbing back up. As we mentioned, he is that 9 Demacia player.
Yeah, Kermix didn't really have anything going on for him that game. He had a very weak early mid game, and he couldn't really hit his forecast. So I guess he did his best by getting at least 7th, at least.
I mean, that's what happens when there are 2 or 3 people actually going towards the Demacia. Someone is bound to maybe not hit, and this time, unfortunately, it was Kurm. Thankfully, it wasn't an AIF, so he was able to actually score a couple points, but it's still gonna hurt in going forward.
Oh, meanwhile, Kingru, oh, this is the guy in my lobby. He's the guy with Demasias and Morty too. Yeah, that guy. You guys know that guy?
That guy also has Connor in his pool, though, so he might be in trouble in this next fight. We're looking at Piva now. 9 Shurima, still the Azir, 1. Still the Cassante on the bench. Can this Aatrox do enough with the QSS? Can this Renekton with a singular cloak buy enough time? He's facing Connor. I think that's not going to be the case. 9 Shurima is strong, but this is not yet the fully upgraded board. And 9 Demacia, of course, is going to be stronger. We see the Jarvan casting onto that middle backline row. Rise and Cassio thrown up into the air. The Azir, the Archangel slowly stacking the Nashers, trying to get that damage through the Giant Slayer as well. But Fiora taken down. Mordekaiser inching closer to the Azir. The Azir is still very much trying his best. It's Aatrox and the Shen left alive in the front line, holding on for so long with the resistances that Demacia gives. Finally, Azir breaks through, but it's a little bit too late.
So close.
Quinn takes the win. Connor survives, sitting very comfy on 16 HP and streaking.
I really love the fact that Rise was there. The fight didn't look close, but Rise was just sending minion after minion after minion, just giving enough time for the Azir one to maybe win.
Yep, that was a Bandle Cafeteria Rise with infinite value like going on. There is actually another challenger spat with
Jarvan.
Rise taken. Also
Jarvan,
Jarvan
so
as
big
well
for
too.
Connor. Nashor's Tooth as well, very flexible item that can go on both AP and AD carries, or maybe even an Aatrox, considering he did have that QSS already onto it.
And Shinro also has also found an Aatrox with an RFC. I don't think RFC can be put on the...
Oh,
pressure,
Velvet
but-
Aatrox?
Oh,
He's
baby.
level 9, he's level 9. Okay, that's defendable.
Aatrox pair.
He's not going for
Nasus 2. Oh, that was not a Nasus like a 2. It got even
He's
bigger.
Cassante. He's not finding Cassante.
Azir's also 1-star as well too, so I mean he does have the HP, so he can afford to lose one more, but he does need to find the upgrades to be able to beat the other players in the lobby, because this is a very high-roll lobby. Let's see how this goes, and wait.
Ace cannot find Cassante. Qingro, the other Chinese player, also fighting for his life. He's up against Tamura, who somehow is still at 29 HP, has played a very good high-tempo challenger game, hitting the Azir too, and finding a way to stabilize off of it throughout all of stages 4 and 5. Doesn't care about the Boogeyman, the Grim Reaper in this lobby. He's still alive. The OCE player doing an absolutely crazy thing in this game, finds another life, and takes down Qingro in the process.
A huge respect for Tamura. The game wasn't looking so good. I do like the Azir. The Azir adaptation, a lot of people have been using that guy with any spat because he basically works as a threat. You don't really need as many spats or as many traits to make him work.
Okay, looking a bit rough for Ace here. He does need to find his 5-cost 2-star. He does need to sell some of his units.
Cassante
Wait.
still. He needs to find the Cassante for the 9
he didn't
Shurima.
find Cassante. He doesn't have 9 yet. Okay, he needs to sell the other units.
Has
He
to sell
sells
everything.
Shen.
He finds
He sells like a
That's
Swain
not
first.
the right one.
Or-
Those are
That's
not the right
one.
ones.
He might have to sell the Aatrox as well too. Can you roll that?
I mean, that's the desperation point. There's
Desperate. He's on
Jarvan
one
has to be
Of course,
sold too.
He needs to do
Oh
that.
no, I don't think this is good enough.
And he's
Gets
up against
Connor.
Connor, Weijin. Two very strong players. Weijin, of course, on Ionia. Has potentially also made it to 9 Ionia. Has not quite yet. But Connor, 9 Demacia. Nashor's Tooth on the Mord. The Quinn doing work as well. I think it's going to be a loss for Ace, unfortunately. Went to level 9, had the percentages in his favor, but still could not find the 5 cost he needed. We're seeing how strong 9 Demacia is. The Fiora's still alive, the Mord is still alive. It's only down to the Azir, but he cannot do it by himself. The Aatrox comes back. He's strong, but he's not strong enough. Ace, the Chinese player, taken down in 5th place.
I mean, it happens sometimes. You're just playing towards the ring condition, knowing that the lobby is already so strong. But when you gamble towards that and you fall behind, there's nothing really you can do. But speaking of win conditions, Weishan Iverson almost really close to level 9 and already an Ari on bench.
He was actually first in the HP like 2 rounds ago, and then he took like 30 damage hit from
I mean,
Look who's first. Look who's first now.
have you seen
Tamura.
the board?
The OCE player somehow has managed to stabilize on 6 challengers and make it all the way to stage 6 with a huge HP lead, where if other players plays Connor, even if they have 9 Shurima, they might take a loss and Tamura might sneak into the 3rd or maybe even 2nd place position in a crazy lobby like this one.
And Asian final levels, you have 9 Ionia, 9 Shurima, 9 Demacia, and Tamura.
Oh, usually I feel Ionia is one of the weaker variations because he don't provide any tank value. Shurima and Demacia gives tank value so the units don't die by Ionians. Will they have enough damage to take the opponents down? Will they not? We shall have to see who survives in this top 4. They're all very powerful, all very capped out.
Does have Combat Caster as well, which works really well with that Ionia board, but it's up to Tamura. Can he do the legendary comeback? Can he stay in this top 2, top 3 coming into this game? Number 3, we're going to see now his board being deleted. The Azir, only 2 items. The Kaisa almost taken down with the Nyla already. She's infiltrated into the backline. Ionia doing way too much. Tamura gets his first reality check, taken down now to 10 HP. Does everyone else stay alive? Connor versus Piva, 9 Demacia versus 9 Shurima. Demacia should be winning, but does he have the upgrades to back this up? The Quinn's already taken down. It's down to the Mordekaiser all by himself. The 1v3, the kill, slowly getting in some extra damage, and it is going to be strong enough. The resistance is really Bebe. It's what it's all about.
So Demacia's proving that they are number 1 amongst the verticals. Challenge is proving that they are actually not good enough to contest the 9s. Will Ionians beat Shurimas? Now that's the matchup we got to focus on.
RE2, she has no items.
Oh wait, but he's going to face a Demacian player first before the Shurima player.
Yeah, that's gonna be he's the boogeyman. So.
Connor from 16 HP. 7th in the standings. We thought he was dead. All of a sudden, we saw the return on.
Soul Velvet by Oriana. No? No?
And Connor, look, he's just so relaxed. He knows that he's on 9 Demacia. He has 30 gold. He's still level 8, but it does not matter. 7 win streak for the North American player. Unfortunately, the civil war here between Wajan and Connor for what could be the 2nd or 3rd place position in this game. The Quinn, the Mordekaiser already trying to break through that Shen, but the Shen is lasting for oh so long. And all of a sudden, the Mordekaiser being taken down a notch. The Belvet, the true damage, doing so much. Connor taken down. It's a huge hit. Wajan survives. Piva also taken down. Tamura, Piva, and Wajan. 9 Shurima, 9 Ionia. And Challenger is still alive in this game.
Connor was like, what was going on that fight? And we were also like, what was going on that fight? How in the world did Demacias lose to like Ionians? Is Wajan that good? Like, what the...
The Belvet is big, right? The Belvet, the true damage, can actually break through these resistances, can actually do enough damage to stop that huge chokehold in the front line where Quinn has so much time to ramp up her own damage.
Can Tamura do it? Can he actually squeeze a top 2 from this lobby?
The Nyla positioning could be relevant here. And Tamura, I just don't know how he's still alive here. He's sitting on an Aatrox 1, a Fiora with 2 items, a Kaisa and an Azir with 2 items as well. It is a kind of a 4 carry setup where they're all itemized to some degree, but surely this Ionia board is just way too strong for Tamura. Tamura, yes, he is taken down yet another notch. Will be knocked down in 3rd place, potentially 2nd, depending on Piva here. His fight is still in progress.
Piva's the important one.
Do it. Archangel's on the Azir, stacking. It's up against the Ionia board. Azir's still alive. There's no healing. There's no armor.
Is there Aatrox? Aatrox, go!
Aatrox comes through. The volley from the Ash. The shot from the Jhin. And Jhin wins it. Piva taken down in 3rd. Wajan Iverson. This guy is a beast. Wins yet another game in the Rune.